All right, what's going on, Legionnaires? Welcome to another episode of the Legion of Comic Correction, where we talk about all things comic books, and we are starting a new series tonight.
New series?
Yeah, because a new series just dropped on Disney+.
Well played, sir.
Yeah, it was
well
nice.
played.
Yeah. Hawkeye. Hawkeye series just dropped. So we are going to be talking about the Hawkeye TV show on Disney+. This week we got 2 episodes to talk about because they dropped 2 the day before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So that was kind of a nice Thanksgiving gift for us from Disney+.
Little present.
Yeah, it was nice. Something to be thankful for, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, hopefully you're thankful for more things than just Jeremy Renner. But he's up there.
Who, may I add, if you ever watch
Close
this,
to
I'm
the
sorry,
top.
Jeremy, but you're looking old.
Yeah, he has.
There was a
You're
side
exactly
shot
right.
where, like, he's just, like, staring off into the distance, and I
close-ups.
was like,
Yeah,
this
he's
man's
not
old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
not that
has
young. But
aged with us.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
aged with us.
He's
I
that
wanna
down
see
to
that.
earth.
I want to see this is supposed to be the Hawkeye who's kind of, he's been worn down.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. So it fits nice. Old man Hawkeye.
You know, we have a bit of an issue here.
Why?
We don't have a name for this podcast yet.
No, we don't. No, I mean I created a little logo for it for our
2
YouTube
hawk,
thumbnails.
2 eye.
No. Nope.
It's about family.
No. Absolutely not.
No,
I will
well,
veto that immediately.
Here's what we do.
That was horrible.
Here's what we do. We think
that
about
was your first attempt?
What channel are you
what
again?
channel am I?
Oh. Oh, dang, it was Greg's. Not too good at this.
We gotta
Too
label
strong.
those too.
Too strong.
Think about what you think the podcast title should be, and then we'll reveal at the end. We'll each give our input.
That's give an
think
attempt
about-
at the end.
Yeah, think about
While
through the
we're
end.
2
going
hawk,
here.
2 eye.
Yeah.
That was
There is-
terrible.
I nailed it. I'm
So-
sticking
A
with it.
little.
So Logan and I will be sharing what we think the podcast should be. No, it was a good start to the show.
Yeah, I
and
think
we
it was
want
a
to talk about it
solid
because there's some
start.
cool stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, I'm not overly impressed. I will
As
say
per
that.
usual.
Yeah,
It was the
for
first
usual.
2 episodes.
But I
So
will
they've
say,
got-
I feel like they
time.
laid good groundwork.
Yes.
There's a lot that can
foundation.
come
Yes.
out of this, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
So
and we're gonna
that's
talk
what I
about those,
will
too.
say is they did a good job of laying a lot of backstory pieces
Yeah.
that can be built out in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I'm especially excited about the Bruce.
Oh my word.
Let's
Yeah.
go,
They
Bruce.
definitely took like the
the Tracksuit Mafia.
well, yeah, they took like the average bro
Yeah.
movie ever said on like some like college movie or some dumb movie,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
just exceeded that limit of
Oh,
how
yeah,
many
they
bros were used in a single
crushed it.
episode of TV.
Well,
Yo,
so,
I may bro out on some of these episodes. I may go full bro,
Oh, shish kebab,
bring back
bro.
some of my old bro gear.
Oh no,
Oh yeah.
the double.
So
polo.
there's a lot of this show is based on the 2012 Hawkeye run, which was a limited run that kind of centered around Hawkeye and Kate Bishop and the introduction of Lucky the Pizza Dog, and it also introduced these characters. Though they weren't called the Tracksuit Mafia in the comics, they were called the Tracksuit Draculas. But they were the same thing. They said bro after every line in the comics. So this is ripped right from the comics. And we're going to be talking about that a lot in that this series has done a really good job. None of us were super familiar with Hawkeye comics.
Not really.
But as we did the
And
research.
any of you listening are probably not either. So
Right, yeah.
Truth.
Who knows? Yeah. Though
Truth.
that's Jeremy Renner's listening.
that 2012
He's not familiar
that
with it
2012 run did really well though. Like that sold really
I'm
well. So
sure
there
it
could be
did.
people for that.
I'm
but
sure it did.
they were real true to a lot of comic stuff, and we'll talk
Yeah,
about
looking
some of that as we
back at it.
go
Yeah.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah,
this-
looking back
it's
at
good.
it as we dig into some of those comics, they're staying on it pretty well, and I mean pulling out some characters that are not as like well known by just common fans.
Very few of them at this point really. Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are like the only
that's it.
really well known, and like people
And
know
Ronan.
Pizza Dog. Yeah, and the Ronin character.
Same.
And then there's one at the very end of episode 2, and we'll talk about that towards
Sure.
the end because that kind of
But I
talks
wouldn't-
about the rest of the series.
You're acting like
Well,
she was really well known.
But
that
the thing
is not
is,
the case.
There's a greater pull though, because it's either Hawkeye's fans would know them or know her, and Daredevil fans would know her. So like, there's at least a greater.
And most likely, it's coming from the Daredevil side.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
There's a greater pull to grab from.
Okay.
Than the other characters.
I can get on board with that, but I still don't. She's not like even an A, B, or C level like villain.
Well,
like we're talking like D-list.
She came close. Well, she came close to killing.
Upper C.
Yeah, she came close to killing
Really?
Daredevil. She came close to killing Daredevil.
All right.
Yeah,
I would say as much as the other people that are.
This is not
alluded to in
this is absolutely not the hill I'm going to die on.
No, good.
Good choice.
I'm not fighting here.
Yeah. So you were saying the laying a good foundation.
Yeah.
So
and trying to bring in some people and introduce a lot of new characters, a lot of new interactions. That we didn't get to see much before. You know, I would say in Infinity War, in Winter Soldier, in a lot of these pieces where Hawkeye is highlighted a little bit more.
Yeah, like Age of Ultron when they go to his safe house. And
exactly,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah. Like the family beats are the most important thing for Hawkeye.
Yeah. And they're great.
You know,
they're so good.
We talk often about in Avengers how the Avengers were the family. Right? And I know this is gonna be really rough. Really rough to say family and
Groot
not
was
be
in
thinking
it.
that's true.
Vin Diesel
was in it.
That's right. That's right.
All Groot was saying.
You know, but you look at so here's the thing. Look at all of the Avengers individually.
I am
okay.
Groot.
You're killing me here. I'm trying to make what is a really good point. You
all
guys
right,
are absolutely destroying my life. All right, I'm just going to move on. Each of the other Avengers individually do not have a family. Like, even Thor,
right?
He goes over at one point, like, father died.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mother died.
Killed my sister.
Brother died. Killed my sister.
Yeah.
Like, all of them, their family was the Avengers.
Yeah.
Hawkeye is the only one who his family was not the Avengers.
Right. Yeah, he had somebody to go home to.
Right. He was fighting for the family that was at home, not the family that was out in the field with him.
Right.
He might have been.
Right. Well, both.
He had a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he had more to lose on that team, arguably, than any other member of that team.
And he lost it all.
He lost
everything.
all of it.
Yeah.
That's the worst. And so the family beats, especially in the first episode, where we see his interactions with his kids, I think are some of the best interactions. And actually, my favorite character in all of this show, I think, is going to end up being the mom. Like, I really like her interactions.
Jeremy Renner's wife?
Jeremy Renner.
Sure,
sorry.
There's the other Kate Bishop's mom, too, and she's really good, too. But
no, Jeremy Renner's wife.
Yeah.
I love her interactions
I hope
with
she's
him.
in it more. Yeah, she's great.
In the interactions between him and her in the second episode on the phone call, she goes back and forth between, like, give me status updates, and also there's a gingerbread house being made.
Yeah.
And it's this constant
always been
back and forth and back and forth.
It's like a real relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
coming
she
from the guy that's
said
single.
in Ultron, Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I was thinking about that interaction,
she
too.
says he is the heart of the Avengers.
Right, they need him.
They need him.
More than he needs them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're so
this
right.
Is
yeah,
such
it's
an
great.
interesting dynamic that plays out here.
Well, it's cool because when we were watching through the episodes, I forget which one of you said it, but you were saying, like, man, this guy has gone through he's had the worst life. Like, he's gone through the worst
Yeah, we both
stuff.
said it. I think Harry and I both said it.
But it's a great,
sucks.
Yeah, but it allows for that great back and forth and playoff of, like, Kate Bishop has also had a difficult origin. We saw at the beginning of the show, like with losing her father.
Yeah.
But she still has that optimistic, heroes can fix things. Hawkeye is amazing. I just want to be a superhero.
Yeah, she's
so
a
I
bit
can
of a
fix things.
fangirl with Hawkeye.
Yeah,
She's green.
Yeah.
Right,
Green.
exactly.
She's not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of that when he
new.
goes to take a leak at the urinal and it says Thanos was right.
Yeah,
and he's like,
Yeah,
well,
he thinks about it,
He
right?
thinks about it.
Yeah.
He takes a double take on
But
that.
that's it's such a great and the comic run from 2012 also did this where Hawkeye's character was much more cynical about the comic world, about the superhero world, and she was much more optimistic. And so you're getting that really great playful banter, but you're also getting like the father-daughter banter where it's like he sees her as just a kid, because she is to him.
Yeah. She's like, he's like, how old are you? 18.
you're like
She's like,
18,
no, I'm
right?
22. He's like, same thing.
Same thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Heard
But
that before.
it creates such a great back and forth.
Yeah.
So we talked about Foundations. Kate Bishop, we see her backstory, which in the comics, she's obsessed with Hawkeye as a hero as well. We see her training and everything. But what I really loved was the way they incorporated her into the MCU, particularly, because the Battle on New York doesn't happen in the comics. Right.
Yeah.
So they wove her origin story into the fabric of the MCU by making her there in 2012 when the accident happened. That's what killed her father. That's where she first saw Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That's where she decided, I'm going to be a hero. And that's like, what a great way to ground it in the world they've created and to connect her to the heroes that we've seen this whole time.
And Marvel's
so cool.
done that. They're good at doing that because, well, they've created their own storyline. So
Right.
doing that, they
Giant
kind of
web.
have to be good at that, or else their movies would fail.
That's
Which
very
we've
true.
seen that sometimes they can lead to not great successes,
Yes.
not necessarily failures, but I think they're starting to finally nail that down.
Yeah, and they're never going to do. You're never going to bat 100. I mean, there's always going to be ones that are going to
They're
suffer.
pretty close,
but they're real
there's a few
close.
that-
Yeah, there's a few that aren't
Low
so good.
90s,
Yeah.
upper 80s,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they've got a good batting average.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the things that they're playing into right now is the stepdad or the potential stepdad.
Jack
Yep.
Duquesne
is the one that we are concerned could be a bad
Yeah,
guy.
well, he is
right.
Jacques
He's being
in the
set up
comics.
as
Right.
Jacques. He's
Yeah,
being set
right.
up as the bad guy, right?
Well,
From
yeah, right. He's
right.
creepy
he's creepy.
Yeah.
and he's real aloof.
Questionable.
Yeah, but so his name is Jack Duquesne
Yeah.
Right.
in the show.
Yeah.
In the comics, though, there's a character called Jacques Duquesne, and I didn't know this. I had to look this up because, again, I'm not a big Hawkeye dude. But Jacques Duquesne is a guy in the comics known as the Swordsman.
Yep.
And he trained Hawkeye when he was younger.
Yeah. Which I
and
thought was
so-
really interesting when you shared that with me
So
because
who knows if he's a bad guy or not? I think they're trying to make us think he is, but I don't think he actually is.
I agree with you, but I think it is a ploy. I think it's a fake. So I asked you at one
You
point,
think he's not really Jacques Duquesne, or you think
no,
the thing that they're doing
I
is
don't
a
think
play?
he's a bad guy.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think they're setting him up to look like a bad guy, while another person close to him is actually the bad guy. In this movie,
agreed.
or in this show. And so, two things that I want to talk about with that. One, we haven't seen a scene where Jack and Hawkeye have met or interacted with each other.
They haven't been in the same room.
They haven't been in the
That
same
They
room.
haven't been able to see each other yet.
So we don't know yet if Jack has actually influenced Hawkeye at all. I'm going to be interested to see when there is a scene with the two of them sharing a room. Like, maybe Hawkeye recognizes Jack, and maybe he did train him. I'd really be interested in some of that storyline. And I think that would be the moment where Jack actually is revealed to not be a bad guy.
Right.
I think that would be really cool. But I do believe the bad guy, I'm going to say it now.
I think the same thing.
I'm saying it now.
I agree with you.
The bad guy in this movie is the mom.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I
Kate Bishop's
believe
mom.
the bad
Or
guy
one
in
of
this
them.
movie.
Yeah.
One of them.
One of them.
One of
I
them.
don't think
Maybe
she's the
isn't
big
maybe
bad,
isn't
but-
all because I there's multiple at this point where they get played into.
Right.
But I believe the mom is in some way connected with the big bad in this, or is potentially the big bad.
I'm going to take it one step further.
Go ahead.
She's Mephisto.
This is
Oh my gosh.
this is what
This is the
so
worst.
earlier
I
today
don't
for
know
all you
how I had
listeners.
this
She wears a
conversation
red.
anymore.
She wears a red dress.
Earlier today
we
for
are
all you
Incredible
listeners.
reflexes.
This is the 101st episode, and I'm about to quit. Like
We sat
just
down with
crossed
Logan to
100.
watch it for him for the
Just
first
crossed
time.
100, and I'm about
And
to quit.
Greg, right off the bat, like
when she
when
flicks the.
Kate was a little girl,
Not even.
he says, "She's Mephisto." Just to let you know.
"Yeah, I'm."
It was right after the mom flicked
So
the food.
stupid.
No one
up,
has that kind of
like,
powers but
yeah.
Mephisto.
I'm like, totally
Yo,
Mephisto.
If
she wears
turns-
red all
I'm
the
gonna
time.
I'm going to say this right now. If she turns out to be
she's Mephisto.
Mephisto, I'm done. I'm done.
We're selling
You
the house.
heard it
Selling it all.
right
I'm moving
here.
to Antarctica.
You heard it here.
I don't want any
first.
Wi-Fi.
You
I
heard
don't
it
want to
here
have a signal. I don't want to
first.
have any access to Disney Plus
Yeah.
if she turns out to be Mephisto.
Yes, you
I'm going to
do.
tell you. No, but in all seriousness,
so
I do
great.
believe she is a bad guy.
She's
in
not.
some
I
ways.
can see that. Yeah.
I don't think she's
You
Mephisto.
know what? No, forget it. I'm
But
gonna
I
put
do
all my
think
cards
she's
on
a
the
bad
table.
guy
I'm gonna
in
say
some
she's
way.
Mephisto, so that
Oh
way,
my
if
gosh.
she
Double
is
zero,
Mephisto,
baby.
if she is,
Woo!
if she is,
You're really swinging for
I'm
it.
amazing.
Yeah, I know. If
If
she
she's not-
turns out to be Mephisto, you are amazing.
And I called it
yeah.
just because the fact that she could catch food.
I'm
in
still
her mouth.
calling she's a bad guy. I'm not calling that she's Mephisto.
100%. She's definitely
Yeah.
a bad guy.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Jack being like a ex Shield agent? Like he trained Hawkeye within Shield.
Yeah.
Like what do you think about that?
Yeah, I
personally-
mean, maybe.
Because he's not a Shield agent. Like Hawkeye is not like a definitively a Shield agent in the comics.
Right.
And I don't think he was in the run where Swordsman trained him.
Yeah.
But in the MCU, it seems like he's been one for quite a while.
Right. You
Yeah.
see that in
So-
Thor 1.
Yeah.
Right. So I wonder
Yeah.
if Jack is like an old Shield operative
Yeah. I
who
think
trained him.
I don't know. I
Could
think
be.
that they are kind of they're obviously alluding that Jack is a bad guy, right? Like that's
Yes.
we're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's a
Oh,
jerk,
yeah.
he's
Oh,
lying
for
to
sure.
Kate, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
At the same time,
It's
you can
too
play like,
obvious.
okay, he's just being, coy and like he's trying to like he talks about the risotto. First, you have to aggravate it, and then it's
Right,
about
right,
patience
right,
and
right.
whatever.
So stupid.
And I was expecting when
So
they were like
stupid. Such a
fencing
dumb line.
to say like, "I'll see you later, risotto," or some dumb thing like that.
I'm
but
so glad he did.
I know. I was expecting a
I was
risotto
hap-
line in there.
I was
No,
really
he-
expecting
and
it. Yeah.
He is the Ron Burgundy of the Marvel universe.
just eating
He's
butterscotch.
got the
Oh my
mustache. He makes the ridiculously strange comments to people that you like don't really know how to take.
right.
I
Yeah.
think I think it's what it is.
So I think it could be a combination of two things. I think it could be a combination of that who he is, if he is a good guy, and we see, or like a kind of down the middle, but more towards the right of being good,
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
wanna call
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then he's getting closer to the mom, who is a bad guy, if you're going to play it that way.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they're going to do their
Yeah,
normal
portrayal
MCU
there.
thing and make their own thing with the swordsman, because
And he's a
you know,
bad guy.
it's
Yeah.
been
They could.
if you read
They
like
could.
under his character, it says like he's tried to be in the Avengers multiple times.
Right.
They
He's a
have,
little sketchy.
they haven't
Mm-hmm.
accepted him because he had a very sketchy upbringing and like he was involved with his uncle or other things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
Right.
I think-
Armand the Third.
Armand the Third.
Butterscotch.
That's creepy, man. That's creepy. You
And-
don't offer people butterscotches.
You don't do that with
That's
other
not-
people's
He's
names.
not-
unless you're a
with dead
grand-
people's names.
unless you're a
No, no, no,
grandmother.
no.
Unless
That's
you're a
true.
Just
grandmother.
number. Yeah. I mean, that was my point.
Out
was
of your purse.
He's not old enough to offer somebody
No,
a
he's
butterscotch.
not. You want
He's not
some
old enough.
butterscotch?
But
Like,
here's
he
well,
needs another 10 to
here's the
20
thing.
years on him.
Probably.
No, here's the thing. I believe he knew she was there. Like I think. He
Oh,
knows,
absolutely.
And he's
Really?
and he's showing her that butterscotch
That's bold.
to let her know that hey, I know where you were. I know you. were.
that's immediately what
I
I
think
thought.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
I think.
I didn't think that.
But anyway,
I would branching
Did not go
on
there.
that, branching on that about the getting what you said, Harry, about getting close to the bad guy if the mom's the bad guy, right? What if he is still an active Shield agent and he has
Right.
been sent there
Assigned.
to kind of
Yeah.
infiltrate her family?
That's
and find
more
out
what I'm thinking.
what
That's
she's
more
doing.
what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
Yeah.
I don't
hope
know,
so. That'd be
though.
so cool.
I agree with you.
It'd
I
be
just
great.
don't know if it's too on the nose anymore for
I don't
Marvel.
know.
They have
Yeah.
done stuff like that too often. That's just Black Widow's storyline.
or
Yeah, I guess.
or
yeah.
Agent Carter's granddaughter. I forgot her last
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
But
Sharon
like when she was
Carter.
with
Sharon Carter.
Sharon,
Sharon.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
she was
Sharon.
like
I just
neighbors
don't know-
with Cap and everything.
I don't know if
Yeah, but
that's
it
too on
falls
the
in line
nose
with
and
the
too
Shield.
easy.
So it'll be a little bit different for. I mean, it'll feel a little bit more for most people who don't know he's the swordsman.
Right.
Like, so
But how
that'll
good
feel
of
a
a-
little bit better. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I
How
just
good of a story would that be though if he does turn out to be a bad guy because he trained Hawkeye?
Right.
Say he
Right.
gets in a fight with Hawkeye.
That would be really
and then
interesting.
also
yeah.
like if he
Yeah.
ever trained Kate and then he kind of like is trying to train her in a way to take down the heroes, but also
yeah, or maybe Hawkeye's gonna train her so that
Right.
she doesn't become like swordsman. Like
Right.
she can try and keep her on the good path.
yeah.
kinda
There
thing.
was a
I don't know.
run of the swordsman. I don't know when it was, but I was reading on it and it said like he did have ties and worked for the Mandarin too. So it's like
Yeah.
okay, so the
ooh,
Mandarin
okay,
can
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
it's more than likely a bad guy all the time, but like also he's just a piece of chaos in the world who
Sure. Yeah.
does things for himself. So sometimes it helps people, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He sees himself as a stable.
So if they ever if they're doing what they do Marvel, the MCU, and they make him a bad guy, I think it would be pretty cool because they say like he's one of the best. He is like one of the best swordsmen next to like Deadpool and the Black Knight in the MCU and Taskmaster.
And they're setting up the Black Knight.
True. The only thing that I think, and this is what we've all talked about, which is what is being alluded to from a lot of different angles, which I hope they do. But another thing of like where I no longer should be like hoping certain things because like
you don't want to be disappointed.
I don't want to be disappointed. I really
disappointment
need to work
is down
on
the road.
Yeah, I
am gonna believe this one though.
Yeah, I mean we are hoping that Kingpin is somehow involved.
Bring him in,
especially with Echo at the end.
All right, so that's so that's getting toward the end of the episode.
The action.
So let's wrap up with two. I have two questions for you guys.
Okay.
All right. So one
before we talk about this,
one has to do with Echo.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. But the other one.
So
is
you want to
before.
direct?
Yeah, direct it first. So first has to do with the end of the first episode. Who do you think killed Armand? Because obviously,
that's a good question.
Kate thinks that Jack did it.
Right.
And a lot of the world thinks that she did it.
Yeah.
Right? But who
in the MCU the world thinks
the MCU world. Yeah, who do you think actually killed Armand?
The mom.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
I was thinking that too.
Yeah,
I was thinking
I
that
think
too. Or she had him killed at least. Like she was behind his killing.
Which goes to probably somewhat your other point, what I was just talking about, is like you have to think about it from the perspective of who do you think the big bad actually is.
Right. Who's pulling all the strings?
If you believe that Kingpin is involved here and is pulling all the strings, then it has to be the mom. Because she's the one who's going to look to frame it on someone who has a sword involved in it in some way.
Yep.
If you don't believe that, then they wouldn't be killing them with a sword. Like it's too on the nose for Armand.
Also funny
for Jack and for Ronan, and it's just too on the nose for anybody else.
So the only reason why I think it might not be the mom.
Who else would it be?
Well,
there's not enough people introduced right now.
It still could be. So the mom, there's lots
there's
of
only
criminal
one other person
activities.
who it could be.
It could be Echo and Kingpin. Like
it could be Joker.
You mean the clown?
The clown, yeah.
Right, but
what about the hand?
He's part of. Well, I don't think they're going to introduce that here. But here's why I think it might not be. Here's why I think it might not be, because I think she actually cares about Jack, and the way that he was killed is going to point to the nephew who wants the inheritance and is obsessed with swords. Like, isn't there another way she could have staged that death?
Did it look like he got killed by a sword, or was that just me?
Yeah, it was a slice across.
It was like stab and then slice.
It was not like it wasn't like.
But that's because it's MCU.
And
it's not going to be that.
He's
it's
actually
not going to be
dead.
what you want. It's not going to be what you want, which is like Punisher style.
No, I know.
She also, so we saw him face down. She turned him over, but we didn't see what she saw when she turned him over.
Right.
And then she's the one who said he was stabbed and killed. So like we're taking her word for it on that. But regardless, that's the only reason why I would say maybe it's not. But that wouldn't depart from the fact that she's a bad guy. It would just depart from the fact that, like, if Kingpin is the big bad, he could be looking at her and saying her connection with Jack makes her weak. So I'm gonna frame Jack so Jack is out of the picture and I can keep her working. So fair. Like that's the only reason why I would be like.
But it's still then the question of who did it, like who physically did it, and then I would think it's the Joker or Echo,
the clown.
Whatever.
The Joker.
The Joker's
They didn't even introduce his name, but as an actual character other than he was tougher than the other bros.
Right.
Bro.
Well, that's and he never said he doesn't say
the
bro.
clown. So the clown or Echo.
Or Echo. Yeah. So the second episode ends.
If that's the case, that doesn't matter who actually did it. It's just that Kingpin ordered it.
Oh, 100%.
If it,
I don't think it matters.
There's
too many ties to Kingpin.
It does not matter.
I don't think it matters. I don't, even if it was the mom, really, I don't think it matters who.
It matters if the mom did it.
I don't think, but the thing is, like, as a bad guy.
Because that opens up much more of the storyline of, like, does she actually love Jack in any way?
Right.
Or is she just using him to say.
She's going to try to kill him to get his money.
She wouldn't do it anyway, though. She would have someone else do it. She's too much of a face.
The other part, too, that
I don't know.
Like, she would order it. She's too big. She's too high up there. She would order someone.
No, because here's the thing. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Kingpin often got his hands dirty himself.
Oh, sure.
So if he's setting that example, she would be doing the
She's
same
following
thing
suit.
and following those orders, following that similar modeling. Like, I mean, plenty of times we see in the Netflix
Daredevil
and Daredevil,
show.
People are not like above getting their hands dirty themselves.
Right, but I feel like Kingpin was unique in that he wanted to go and see it done.
Yeah,
like I feel like
know.
she might be too squirmish. Like she'd order it to be done, but she might. Yeah, he's. Well, so we see lots of things pointing to Kingpin, right?
This
Lots
guy
of
here
things
is for it.
Lots of things pointing to Kingpin. We hear about a crime syndicate and a whole criminal organization in New York City.
Right, and then there's a black
underground. That building is the same one that Fisk bought in the Daredevil series.
Right, the building that they hold the charity
somebody look it up
in and
figure it out.
That's true. It might
check
look
it out.
like
I'm
it's
not
the same
gonna
one.
Yeah.
And then
what's your second question here?
And then, so my second question is, so then we have the introduction.
Got it. Nailed it.
Then we
Moving
have
on.
the introduction of Echo,
Yeah.
who in the comics is a good / bad guy, who was originally raised, at least partially raised by Fisk, by Kingpin, and sent to kill Daredevil. Eventually she ends up siding with the good guys and whatnot. But we see her here, which is another point to Kingpin. It's another point to Kingpin being kind of the pulling all the strings.
Sure.
So that being said, and she also has a Disney Plus series already confirmed. There's just going to be a series about Echo. So she's already got something coming up.
I'm like
in the
not
future.
interested in that.
I don't know. You know what? If they bring back Charlie Cox and Daredevil's in it, then yes, I'm interested in it.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Like, and
But
she's also super cool. She's deaf and she's an indigenous. She's from indigenous people group, which is an awesome representation. And she's
they're
a
really
killer
if
fighter.
That's true.
Man.
They're really putting a lot of eggs in this Echo basket.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Which is not a character that people really know. That's my concern. The only reason I'm not interested is because I really don't know much
Disney
about
doesn't care.
Yeah,
they're willing to
Disney
put money into
care.
any character, and if people will watch it, they'll watch it.
Feige knows what he wants to do,
Right.
and he's doing it whether we like it or not. And that's
so. If this is the tie that we need to get to Daredevil coming back in,
do it.
And Kingpin,
now that's where I
let's bring the noise.
Bring the action.
All right. So you guys already kind of answered it, but like, who do you think the big bad? Who are you convinced the big bad pulling the strings is going to be? So, Kingpin. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, man.
How dare
Better
you?
question.
Vincent
Better
D'Onofrio.
question.
No, I was just saying the question was. That was it.
D'Onofrio.
I mean, we already answered.
I know we already answered. Well, you hadn't answered it when I
who do I think it is?
started to
Deadpool.
think
That's fair.
that-
Deadpool.
All right.
Once
all
again.
Then
right.
you went all
Deadpool.
through him.
Deadpool.
Deadpool
For no reason.
Every time. Deadpool.
He needs to be in everything.
Every question.
No.
I think it's Kingpin being played by Nicolas Cage.
No.
I deserve that
All right,
one.
I
deserve that. I
I don't think Nicolas Cage is as bad as I say he is in this podcast. I'm doing it somewhat for laughs, but
I know.
I would not want him to be king.
No, I agree with you.
He
I
is
don't want him to be.
I'm king.
I don't actually want him
Unless
to be.
they CG'd his
No,
entire body
I
to
want
make him bigger.
I want Vincent D'Onofrio. I
Oh,
want him
he's
to be
so
brought
good.
in. He's perfect. There's
Yeah.
no.
So
I was Ghost Rider.
There's no changing. There's no changing that casting.
I sold
There's
my soul
too
to
much.
the devil.
I honestly believe they need to really absorb everything from the Netflix series,
Except for Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Iron
can go.
Fist was
Iron Fist can go. You're
disgusting.
Iron
exactly
Fist
right.
was
garbage and skewed.
Yeah, no,
for
you're
a
right.
Netflix special.
But the others,
he was terrible.
were phenomenal.
Oh yeah, every single one
Luke
of them.
Cage.
Luke
Luke
Cage was
Cage
good.
perfect.
Jessica Jones was
Jessica
good.
Jones was good.
She's good.
First season was a
yeah.
lot better than the second season.
Agreed.
And
agreed.
Daredevil was
Daredevil was just
unequivocally the
amazing.
best
Yes.
of them all.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
and
course.
that
Of
version
course.
of Elektra,
Undeniably.
that
And
version
Punisher
of
was good.
Elektra, way better than Jennifer
Oh,
Garner.
yes.
Jennifer Garner was
She was
like,
good.
what is going
Yeah.
on? She was so
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
in the Netflix show.
So,
man.
like, that's
Yeah.
my point is if
And
they
Stick.
need to figure out a
Yeah.
Give me
way,
some more stick.
Yes.
if they need to somehow make these connections between Echo or whoever else to
Yeah,
get
whatever
to
it
them,
takes.
whatever it
Do it,
takes,
do it.
Literally whatever it takes.
we
I do
can
not
take a
care.
Machiavellian approach to this, and the ends justifies the means
Absolutely.
here to me.
If I get to see,
Deontological.
if I get to see Vincent D'Onofrio in the MCU, I mean that's
He's
as
perfect.
to me that's as good as seeing Willem Dafoe in this upcoming Spider-Man movie. Like Vincent D'Onofrio,
Wow. High praise.
High praise.
But he's so powerful. We were just talking about the scene where he just bashes that dude's head into the door.
That would
2
definitely
minutes.
not be allowed in the
No,
MCU.
not in the MCU.
But if it
but
came close to
But
that,
the power, his imposing character, like he's
That's
iconic.
I think that's the thing. Is
Iconic.
He is beyond imposing. He is petrifying. And like when you talk about
but
a
Harry's the
series-
same size as him. So Vincent D'Onofrio,
not from a
Vincent D'Onofrio, if you're watching,
angles.
come on the show, and we'll sit you next to Harry,
Yeah.
and we'll just have a wonderful time together. Like, you should come on the
I
show.
do not mean any offense to you, Harry, but I do believe if Vincent D'Onofrio sat next to you and stared at you like a Kingpin stare, intimidated.
I'd
be willing to test it out.
I would purposefully. I think out of respect for him, we'd have to give you a little bit of a lower seat.
We would
Just
intentionally
because
give you a
he's the
lower seat.
Kingpin.
It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So
I wouldn't mind fighting Kingpin.
What are we calling? What are we calling this?
Good for you.
What are we calling this podcast series?
Oh my gosh.
Did we think about it? Did we know?
What do you got?
Oh no. What are we calling it?
Too Hawk, Too High. Because it's about family.
Too Hawk, Too High.
We might.
That is
Definitely currently
have
where
to
we
take
stand
that.
is Too
I
Hawk,
don't know
Too
if
High.
What about it's about family?
No. No.
But it might not be. We haven't seen.
Yeah,
the
we don't
I
know how much
do
of
it
it's
for
about
the
family.
family.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we all know he's working his way through the 5 days before Christmas to be with his family.
That's true. That's true. We should.
Come at me again.
We should call it the Kingpin podcast because we just want him here.
Yeah. We will will it to be.
We will. We'll make it happen. What do you think? Yeah,
I have an actual one. I have an actual one. Okay. You do EYE. I
EYE.
Yeah, EYE.
Yeah.
I love this Hawkeye podcast. That is good.
terrible.
That is not terrible.
Mine was like jokingly bad, and it was funny because it made people laugh. Yours is just bad.
Love this Hawkeye podcast. Is definitely.
Let me do it. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Your puns are usually pretty good.
Yeah, usually they're worthy of a.
Jeez, I don't know how that one didn't land.
It flopped.
I
on that one.
legitimately thought that was a good one.
You may need to take a look at yourself.
I'm gonna go
look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Turn around.
Yeah, every now and then I take a.
Well, if you at home,
we need some help
know
here,
a
ladies and
good
gentlemen.
I'm
title.
gonna start with the man in the mirror.
Now I'm gonna quit.
Okay.
What if we just keep
tell
on
us-
doing stuff with I?
No,
Like,
drop it in the
I
comics.
don't know where this
Yes.
podcast is going.
Drop it in the comics if you have an idea of what we should call this series that is better than the I one. And let us know. And let us know what you thought about
What
these
about
first 2 episodes.
I'll be home for Christmas?
That one's
That's
better.
an actual
That's actually
movie.
better. No, but he's saying
Yeah,
I
but
like
I'll
EYE.
be.
Oh, put an
I
EYE.
just made it
I'll
better. No big deal.
Beehive.
Well, you made it slightly better.
Slightly
And
better from.
apparently
It went
was-
from 0 to 1.
Yeah, I mean that's not a
we
lot.
I don't
need your
disagree,
help.
but it's still better.
It's
we
still
need
better.
your help.
It's still better. You got a point.
All right. Well, we meant to put a little reminder here, and we didn't again. But
Jeez, we
please
messed up.
like and subscribe if you're here still.
Hit that bell.
Hopefully you already have. If you are not part of Patreon, check out our
That's
Patreon
right.
link. We've got some sales going on. Actually, when this episode airs, there won't be any sales anymore. But we will have more coming up. And Patreon always gets you access to new kinds of stuff. So check out everything in the description and come back next episode because we'll hopefully be, better than this one.
We'll hopefully have a name.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out.
Thanks for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on the major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction.
That's right. And make sure to check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every week. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, same Legion.